I wouldn't really recommend practicing with a brick like that, or like that, or like that. These are the bricks that I would recommend. Semi-engineering, probably the cheapest you're gonna get. Easy to lay, easy to push down. If you want to challenge yourself, definitely don't get LBC, worst brick ever. That's an engineering, horrible brick to lay, but I would go for something like this, semi-engineering. You're going to use up a bit more muck with stuff like this, but really easy to practice with. 100 bricks. So you have Celcon blocks or concrete blocks. I would recommend Celcon all day, every day. I think about £2.40 each year or something. I'd recommend getting, I'll get 10 just in case. All right, bricks, blocks, check. All right, so we've got some hydrated lime, building sand, not sharp. I'll get 10 of these. Sand and lime, check. Right, so we've got the materials we need. I'll put them in the shed. Pissing down the rain. I do recommend keeping your materials somewhere dry, like a shed. It doesn't take up too much space. Ideally, you want to put your materials, you want to try and find like a little station area. It's close to where you're storing your materials, so you ain't got to cart everything around too much. And you want to keep everything in a dry place, because once your materials get wet, you won't want to be using them. This will be a nightmare, and it is absolutely lashing it down now. I've usually got muck boards, but they're all on site, so I went and popped back to B&Q and grabbed a bit of 9mm MDF, 600 by 1200, so you can cut it in half. Costs about £9 or something like that. If you've already got your hand tools, which you should have if you're an apprentice, then you shouldn't have to be paying out for that. All right, so we've got a standard sort of size muck board, 600 by 600. A great way to learn when you're learning to do the muck is to just work on the board. It's so easy to tell a beginner just by how they pick the muck up. So if you mark, a brick is 100 wide. So if you imagine this as your brickwork, what we're going to do is knock some muck up and put it here, and just practice running a bed across here. It's much more efficient to learn this way. Everyone's so keen to put muck on a wall and start laying bricks when 50% of the work is getting the bed right, and there's no point in moving on to the next part if you're not learning how to do your bed right. And until you can spread a nice even bed across here straight without fucking it up, there's no point in trying to put it onto a wall. So this is the best way for you to learn. Imagine it as like Karate Kid, where he teaches him wash on, wash off, and he starts saying, oh, when am I going to get to do some karate? Well, it's a bit like that with bricklaying. There's no point in moving on to the actual bricklaying itself until you can at least master the laying the bed correctly. So I've got a Gorilla tub. It's a very large Gorilla tub. It's about £8. I've got 3 of them. You're not going to need that much, in all honesty. Even something as small as a trowel. So we've got 4 trowels of sand and 1 trowel hydrated lime. I'd recommend mixing it dry first. So you got some plasticizer, just helps with the workability. Right, so we're just gonna add a little bit in there. Once you start knocking up bigger batches, you're going to want either, I would suggest getting a paddle mixer. This isn't the best way to knock it up, but It'll do just for what you all want to do. Alright, let's get this knocked up. When you're working a board, you're coming in from the side. You don't need any more than this just to practice with. And there's no point in going on to learning anything else until you've learnt this properly. It's called rounding your board up. When you see a beginner come up to a muck board, first thing they'll do is dig in the middle like that. You spot a beginner off straight away. When you're coming into a board, you're going to be facing this way when you lay your bricks. So a lot of people like to come from this way and spread across this way, flatten off, and then V through the middle and pick the excess up like so and work backwards. They like to work backwards because they're facing the way that they're going all the time. But the only trouble with this is once you get high, you can't go like that. It becomes very awkward and you have to start doing this and working towards this way but going backwards, and I find that personally very awkward. Me personally, when I will be facing this way, but my muck board will be there and my wall will be there. So me personally, I like to come in from this way and then spread across this way. But if I was against the wall, I would be this way and getting the muck from here, and it would be coming across the wall like that. So you want to just look at what you've done there, and it's a lot fatter this end. So if I just pick a bit of the excess up and put it to the beginning and then come through this way, this is what you're trying to achieve. If you can do this in one go, then you are ready to start putting it on the wall. But until then, what I would recommend trying to do over and over again is cutting into the board and spreading along the wall. Like this. Once you've done that and you put your muck back, just have a little go at rounding your board up again. It's good practice to round your boards up, collect what's around the edges. Get enough for your trowel and spread it across, V it down the middle, pick the excess up at the front. And if you had, obviously if it was a brick, you'd be able to pick your excess up through the back as well. Right, so I just want to explain something about how your trowel motion, or what it should look like. Basically it will go something that looks like that. So if you're going to just drop it like that, it's just going to drop in one place. So it's more like a drag across. So it will be dragging across but turning slowly. That's the sort of motion you're looking for. But overall, you just need to be practicing this technique over and over again until you can happily say that you think that that's good enough to go on to putting it onto a wall, because as soon as you put it on a wall, it's going to start drying out very quickly. So you need to know how to do this well before you'd even want to start trying to put bricks on the wall. This is just all I'm going to cover today. What I'm going to do with this is literally just put it in here, because you can reuse that. It will go hard and then you'll crumble it up, break it up, add water back to it, and you'll be able to reuse it. Get all the excess off you can, put it away. I've got a little stiff brush in my bucket. I do recommend cleaning your board somewhere that ain't gonna make too much mess. If you do clean your board, it will extend the life of it. I would recommend getting some tarp just to put on the floor. You'll keep it a lot cleaner, and if you're at your parents' house or something, it's not something you really want to be doing, it's messing up their garden. But it is a very easy way to practice doing your bed. If you enjoyed today's video and it's helpful for you, and this is something you want me to carry on doing, let me know in the comments below, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.